All right. Hey there, guys. It's Mia Redrick here, the mom strategist. And I'm so excited tonight to share with you. This is going to be good. I am Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist. I support mostly moms with life and business success. I want to try to keep this short. Oh, goodness. We're going to keep this short, okay? I'm going to keep this short, okay? I've coached over 400 clients. Half of them are authors. 112 of them are authors. Half of them are #1 Amazon bestsellers. And I'm excited about that. I love to support my clients with taking who you are, packaging that, your expertise, your ideas into a product, a service. But I'm going to stay on, okay? I know you're going to stay on. I'm going to try to keep it short, guys. You know, my short is like 50 minutes. I'm really trying. But this is a really great topic tonight, and I want to introduce myself to you, those of you who have never met me before. I started my business 13 years ago. I'm Mia Redrick. I am a mom strategist, and I wanted to combine my background as a coach and my love, well, not my background as a coach, but my background as a mom and my background as a trainer into a business. And I wasn't really sure how to do that. And I went to a small business resource center and was told that what I'm currently doing today would never ever happen, that no one would ever pay me to support moms, right? And so I'm really passionate about supporting those of you who have like really great ideas that you want to bring to the marketplace, but maybe you're the thought leader. Like maybe you're supposed to broker something new and there are not other people doing what you're doing. And so therefore, sometimes you're met with opposition. So I want to set some ground rules for my scope. People typically like to write. They must have been a bunch of men, right? They were. People like to write because I try to make them content rich. But I want you to write, and tap. Now, the hearts are not for me. The hearts are for other people who will benefit from the message of the scopes, okay? And so if you guys agree to do that, like, do you agree? Like, can we handshake or something? Like, okay? All right, so write, and then tap. I promise to give you amazing content. That's my commitment to you. Now, I've been a full-time entrepreneur for the last 10 years. I've been in business for 13 years. I'm monetizing who I am, like building my own brand from scratch, and that's what I like to support other entrepreneurs with doing. And what's really cool about what I get to do is it gives you options, right? To be able to be a full-time entrepreneur. Hey there, K-Night. To be an entrepreneur, to be able to work from the comfort of your home, to be able to be there for your family when they need you is important. To be able to take your kids to school if that's what you want to do and pick them up or have dinner with your family, whatever you want, then if that's what you're into, controlling your time, you're going to love my scopes. You can check out my past scopes. They're over 100 at katch.me. And sometimes I talk about branding, how to position yourself as an expert, how to monetize your soul purpose. You name it. Those are the kind of things that I like to talk about. But tonight, I'm going to be talking about how to raise confident kids because I think it's so important. And a couple of you guys had the opportunity to meet my children over the weekend, right? You had an opportunity to meet my children over the weekend. I have 3 children, a 17-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 10-year-old, boy, girl, boy. And all of them are confident in many different ways. And I know that sometimes I meet people when I'm out and they always say, how is it that your kids act this way? And I thought, I wrote down tonight a couple of notes on just a couple of things that Pat and I, my husband and I, we've been married for 20 years. As of last week, we celebrated our 20th anniversary. What we've done to be able to raise our children who we believe are very confident kids overall, okay? And so I'm just going to share those with you and then I'm going to open the floor for questions, all right? And so what I believe about parenting is that, thank you so much, is that it's our responsibility to share what works. However, I don't believe that I'm the only person that has a solution. Like I think we all have solutions and we all learn from one another. So that's so important. So tonight I'm just going to share what we have done with our children and the hearts went away. Okay. Come on guys. A deal is a deal. All right. Number 1, if you want to raise confident children, one of the first things you want to think about is let your children choose their own journey. You got to let your children be themselves. Let your children decide for themselves their purpose, the thing that they're called to do, their passion, the things that they love. And I meet parents all the time that want to own those things for their kids. I've seen it sometimes. I've worked at one time. Let your children choose their own journey. Right? Let them choose the thing that they're passionate about and live that thing. And, sometimes as parents, we do see sometimes first what our kids are good at, but give them the space to decide for themselves what the journey is, okay? And not own that journey for them, because I think when you're raising confident kids, they have to know that. Absolutely support them in their dreams. They have the dreams that they have for themselves. Absolutely, Anitra. You guys need to check Anitra out. She is the Mom on the Move. She's one of my clients. She's an incredible mom, manager of two incredible girls, Olivia and Alexandra, how could I forget it, right? Alexandra, her daughter, and my daughter have the same name. And one of her daughters is an athlete, a junior Olympian. And then her other daughter is a speaker and has hosted conferences for girls on confidence. And I think it's so important for us to share ideas and to collaborate. But I think it's important to let your kids choose their own journey. Like, let them tell you what they want to do. Let them tell you what they're passionate about. And listen, even if you see something else for them. It's interesting because of all three of my kids, they're into different stuff. So Patrick, junior Olympian, he's a fencer. He fences, his weapon is saber. He's a saber fencer, okay? And he's qualified to go to the Junior Olympics twice. And also he is a writer and he debates nationally. That's kind of his thing, right? We had nothing to do with any of those things. It's his thing, okay? I'm sorry. 3 times. Three times he's here, okay? I'm going to ask my son. He's always been good in math and science. Let him choose his own journey, because it's a journey they have to own. My daughter, Alexandra, is a goalie for field hockey, and a great goalie, and she sings, and she also acts, and then she sings and she acts, right? Patrick Redrick, he's going to get me straight, right? He's like, I haven't gone to qualified to go to the Junior Olympics 2 times, 3 times, Mom. Get it straight, okay? Get it straight, okay, I got it, okay? Alex is a goalie for field hockey. She also plays softball, and she sings in the Glee Club, and then she is also an actress in like a pretty prestigious acting group here, and all the kids academically are rock stars. And then there's Matthew, who is Matthew's acting now. That's kind of his thing, all right? And so when you have, and he's also an academic student, and we let the kids choose their own journey. You're not going to be in a play because I want you to be in a play. Alex isn't going to study science. She's a science kid because I love science. Patrick isn't going to be a writer because we love writing. He's going to choose his own journey. And when you allow your kids to do that, it becomes more organic for them. Like, there becomes joy in the process, and you don't have to manage it, because they're going to manage it because it's based on their own passion. Does that make sense? Okay. The second thing is, don't fix their mistakes. I'm just saying, now, like, I know some moms out there are listening. It can be difficult as a mom to encourage their gifts while giving them space to pursue different directions. Yes, but you have to let them do that, because it's about owning your gift, right? The gift that is fun is the gift you get to own. The gift that's not fun is the gift that your mom is managing for you, right? That you don't get to own, right? And at the end of the day, if you want to raise confident kids, give them the space to be themselves. Love above all. Oh my God, yes, right? So give them the space to own their gifts and be themselves. The second thing is, don't fix their mistakes. That means that in order to be confident, confidence comes from action. It comes from you understanding what you can do. And when you fix your children's mistakes, they don't know what they can do. They don't know what they can do. They know what you can do. They know that they can rely on you to fix them. So my kids will say I'm pretty hardcore about it, but if you're the last person up, if you get up late and you need to be to school first, guess what? You get to school last, because at the end of the day, it's about you understanding that if you need to be there first, you need to get up first. You need to act like a person that needs to get up first, need to be somewhere first. All right? And it's about building that level of character within your children. And sometimes for us as moms, what we want to do is rescue and save our children. And as a result of that, they never learn the fortitude. Like, you never learn how strong they are. You have to invest while you can still influence at some point. They'll do what they want to do anyway. They will. And I think when they're with you, you have the opportunity to teach them the cost of sometimes their choices. And I think a lot of times if you want to raise confident kids, you got to understand that if your kids don't understand the cost of their choices, they're either going to learn it with you or they're going to learn it with somebody else. And it's better with you. So I'm pretty hardcore about it. Like I said, if you get up last in the morning and you need to be somewhere first, you won't get there last. That's because you got up last. You didn't contribute to the morning. It wasn't that important to you. And that's not how life works, right? So at the end of the day, if you want to raise your kids to be confident, you got to teach them. You got to teach them to be accountable. Don't fix their mistakes. Don't be the mom that's on there erasing all of their stuff, because it's not about what the people who are reading whatever they're submitting sees. They have to own their choices. It's about what your kid feels, because what they feel is that they can't do it when you're fixing it. I'm not fixing it. So everybody know I'm not fixing it, because you're capable. All right. You wouldn't be having to do this essay. You wouldn't have to do this assignment if you couldn't do it. And if you can't do it, then we need to advocate for different support for you. And that's a whole different scenario. So we need to do that too. I like that. Contribute to the morning. Everybody's got to contribute to the morning. I used to tell my children, turn on your thinker. I like that, Pat. That's wonderful. It was great talking with you today. I don't have time to fix it anyway. Fix your own life. Okay? Learn to fix your own life, because what we want is when our kids go away to school, you need to know how to fix your own life. And if moms are fixing everything for you, how do you learn those really important skills? If you need to reset, go out and come back so that the hearts count. Okay, guys? For those of you who are just joining me, I'm Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist. I support moms with life and business success. Today, I'm talking about how to raise confident kids. I'm going to try to keep it brief today, but I always... they got to be self-sufficient. I always like to give you amazing content. You can always check me out at miaredrick.com or on Catch, KATCH.me to check out some of my former scopes, okay? Number 3 is don't own their gifts. Do not own their gifts. It's their gifts, okay? You know what I'm talking about. You know how, like, your kid can do something exceptional and that you as a mom decide you're going to own it? My 3-year-old loves the drums. I bought him a set and he just plays freely. You're amazed at his development. You know how you meet moms who, because their kids do something in some way, it makes them feel like they're puffing their own chest out? That's not for you. Go get your own thing, okay? As a mom, you got to go get your own thing. In our house, if you make a commitment, you keep it. Well, support, but you sacrifice. It's their gift. It's not your gift. It's their gift. And they have to understand it's their gift. And I meet so many moms that they get so caught up in what their kids can do that they stop listening to what their kids want to do. See, they get caught up in what their kids can do and they stop listening to what their kids want to do. And that's because they have owned their kids' gifts. When you are owning your children's gifts, it means that you need something, right? You're living vicariously through them week in and when they grow up, and then you don't have a life of your own. So you need to find your own groove. You need to get your own thing going on. This is good stuff, guys. If you know any moms that will benefit, I'm going to ask you to share the scope with them, because my only goal is to support more moms with life and business success. It's so, so, so important. And I meet so many moms who live that way vicariously through their kids' successes because they don't want to create their own. So if you find that that is you, what it's telling you is that you need to get your own groove back. You need to discover who you are once again, and you need to get unstuck from motherhood. Anybody with me? Okay. All right. Number 4. Ooh, okay. Teach them that failure is not a death sentence. If you want to raise confident kids, you got to teach them that failure is not a death sentence. Do you have boundaries for changing directions when a season ends after recital is done? I do. Okay, so here's the thing. If I write a check for something, fail fast and often. Yes, absolutely, Anitra. If I pay for something that you said you want to do, you're going to do that, okay? You're going to do it. That's what's going to happen. If you said you wanted the instrument, you wanted to play this instrument, and now you decide you don't like this instrument, you're going to be playing that clarinet. If I pay for it, you're doing it. That's my rule. If I pay for it, you're doing it. However, once that season is up, you get to renegotiate, just like life. Okay, but you don't get to opt out of something you said you wanted to do. The other thing that I do is I am not the mom that brings home the flyers, that puts the, I don't put the flyers on the refrigerator and say, do you want to do this? Because what I understand about kids is whatever it is that they want to do, they're going to tell you 100 times. So you just they're going to tell you, they're going to ask you over and over again. So it's not my responsibility to convince you of what you want to do. I'm just going to listen to what you really want to do, right? Because I want you to own it. Hey, Tara, welcome to the broadcast. I'm Mia, you know this, and I'm so excited that you're here. Okay. All right. So I think I answered your question. Did I answer your question? If not, just post some more here. Okay. So teach them that failure is not a death sentence. It's not. Success is built on failure. And I meet so many parents that they're afraid to let their kids fail. Let them fail. Let them make mistakes. It is okay. In those mistakes is the opportunity for learning. This is where they learn that you are resilient. Sometimes you do have to expose them to new experiences so they know what is available. That's true. Depending, hey, darling, good to see you. That's true. I think you have to be open-minded, but in the same token, they get to choose their own journey. You know, at the end of the day, what I found is that, you know, we're a family. We do a lot of really great things together. You get to see what you want to do. And if you decide that this summer you decide you want to do anything, how did that feel? What you think about that? Is that who you are? Does that line up with who you want to be and where you want to be and what you want to do? You know, we had kids, some of our kids choose to not do anything for a summer. Whoever thought to fence? Patrick and one of his friends, like the Three Musketeers, and they decided that they wanted to learn to fence. And then his friend wasn't good at it and quit like 2 weeks into this thing. And we had like a 45-minute commute because, you know, it's not fencing places everywhere. And Patrick actually was very good at it. His first weapon was FA, and then he picked up another weapon, was a saber. And it was just, that's kind of how it happened. So Pat and I didn't know anything about fencing. We didn't know any people that fence. And so, you know, the fencing community is very small. But in Baltimore, we've got a pretty exclusive community of fencers. So anyway, Patrick has fenced with one of Johns Hopkins coaches. The head coach for Johns Hopkins fencing program was one of his coaches. So kind of cool. Anyway, that's kind of how that got started. So let your kids fail and understand that they need to learn that they're resilient. They can overcome. Don't rescue them. And success is built on failure. And I meet so many moms that rescue their kids. Like, you know how you're waiting and they're like, oh, when a kid falls off a horse or whatever is going on with the kid, they're just saving the kid. Let them fail. Let them fail and let them understand that you can recover from failure, because it's a great lesson for life. And that's how you build confident kids, but not doing for them what they can do emotionally for themselves. Not doing for them what they can do emotionally for themselves. Yeah, helicopter moms, they like to hover over their kids, and you know, and it's just not necessary. The kid doesn't need it. You have to understand that you're hovering for you. You're not hovering for them, and you need to work on you. Get something going on with you, okay? Define your life, okay? The next thing is acknowledge the brilliance that they have. So you got to understand, the thing is that when you're gifted, it's important that your parents acknowledge you're gifted. I'm opposite. I want to push my children to help them get the life lesson. You know what? I think that there are times when you can do that, and you know, Pat, that's totally cool. And I think that the other times they'll get a different lesson. I think the intention from the mom is what's most important. Sometimes I meet moms who just won't let their kids fail. They won't let the kids fail. Like, they're like, we don't do that, right? And the kids never develop resilience. Okay, meaning push them over the cliff, right? You know, you want them to see how capable they really are. And that's all failing really is letting your kids know that you have this. You can overcome this. You can do this. Okay. You can do this without me, right? Because that's the whole goal in motherhood, is letting your kids know that hopefully everything that we put inside of them, they can do it. They have to be ready to receive the lesson. They do have to be ready to receive the lesson. Absolutely. I agree with that. Okay. All right. Acknowledge the brilliance, that they have, right? So when you're brilliant and you're smart and you're amazing, I think it's important to acknowledge that in your kids. Let them know that you see it, compliment them on it. I would say not over compliment them, but know that sometimes, just like when you are brilliant, otherwise our work is in vain. Yeah, our work is in vain. Yes, Anitra. Just like when you're brilliant, you do something amazing. Sometimes what is silence feels like when you walk in a space and nobody says, great job. When you see brilliance in your kids, acknowledge it, but don't overpraise them. But, definitely acknowledge in them that, like, I think you're gifted. Like, you're an amazing writer. Patrick is an amazing writer. He's always been an amazing writer. And I've always said to him, like, that's your gift. Like, you're an amazing writer. And that's that, okay? And, and with Alex, the same kind of thing in terms of her acting. She's a great actress. She's great at science. And the fact that I was just saying, acknowledging their gifts, because sometimes they don't hear it from a lot of different people. And it's important as parents for your kids to know that you do see them and you acknowledge their gifts. It feels good versus ignoring them. And I want to talk about that for a minute, because I mentor some girls and some who are very talented, and sometimes they, if you don't have parents that acknowledge what you do, it feels like they're not noticing you. And that's why I thought it was so important to include this in the process. It's making sure you as a parent are acknowledging what your kids do well. All right. Because sometimes, they need that and they're not hearing it from any other place. So if you're not doing that, making sure that, let me make sure I'm saying, you're going to do a great job. The other thing that I like to do when my kids get out of school, out of the car in the morning to go off to school, I like to say, why do we go to school? And they're like, to learn. Right. You don't go to meet your friends. You go to learn. What'd you go to school for? You go to school to learn. Okay. And I think sometimes as moms and parents and dads, we don't take full opportunity to tell our kids, why are you doing this thing here? You're doing this thing to win. Okay. You're doing this thing because you can. Okay. And that's part of helping them to own what their gifts are and to show up fully. And we're programming them really for success. So that's what I think my role is. You're leaving for school in the morning. You're going off into this building, and I want you to know, like, your friends are there, but you're not there for that. You are there to learn, okay? If you need to reset, go out and come back so that your hearts will count, okay? Don't just tell them what, but tell them why, right? Tell them why. Tell them you are going to school to learn. That's why you're there. That's why we drop you off here every day, okay? That's actually why. And it's really important, okay? The next thing is, don't praise them for what they have not done, okay? Do not praise them for what they have not done. They did not do it, okay? And it's a hollow compliment. And what happens is your kids develop a false sense of security when you do that. Don't praise them for what they haven't done. Just don't say anything because they didn't do it. Okay. And I think your kids long term will appreciate you for it. It's nothing like praising somebody and it's a hollow compliment. You know what that feels like as an adult. Think about it as a kid growing up with parents that say, great job, and they did an inadequate job. If it's not good, tell them it's not good. And it's just important. And I think that we live in a world today where we're saying, we're trying to be politically correct. Don't denigrate them either, right? You're not going to put them down. But in the same token, you need to be realistic about what really it is. Like, if your kid gives you a piece of paper and it's bold up and they're writing a paragraph to their teacher, that's not their best work. And what I usually say to my kids is, okay, does this look good to you? Does this represent who you are? Right? And they're like, Mom, does this represent who you are? Okay? And if it doesn't, then you need to change it. If it does, then okay. All right. And they can really trust the positive truths you speak. Absolutely. Because what we have to do as moms is prepare our kids for the real world. And the real world isn't kind. They're not going to be nice to you. They're not going to be and they're not going to break it down for you. It was so interesting because I had an event recently. I had a retreat event, and I had a couple of teenagers. Well, they weren't teenagers. They were young women that had just graduated from college, work with me, and one was my niece. And it was so interesting because one of the girls was so used to being praised for doing nothing, like being praised for doing nothing, that she couldn't really thrive in not being praised for little things like sleeping in when she's supposed to be at work. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes when your parents don't adequately prepare you because they're praising you all the time, saying, you know, you're doing things you're not doing. Teach your kids to be responsible. They can be responsible. Help your kids understand what they're fully capable of, but setting the bar high, but reasonably high for who they are and what they can achieve. I mean, they will appreciate it long term that you don't have low standards for them, that you believe in them, that you see what's possible for them. That's our responsibility as parents, not to ignore that, not to feel like we're pressuring our kids. I'm not pressuring my kids. Like, you can do whatever you want to do. You can go wherever you want to go. You like Matthew will say to me, my youngest, he'll say to me sometimes, and he's in 4th grade, and he'll say, Mom, you know, homework is hard. I don't want to do math homework. And I'll say to him simply, don't do it, Matthew. You can just stop right here. And he's like, Mom, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Why would you say that? Stop it, Mom. Right? And I say, because you have to choose. You have to decide that your 4th grade homework is something that's important to you. See, I already did my 4th grade homework. It was important to me. That's why I went on to college. But you have to decide that it's important to you. Okay? And what we're not going to do is put me in the middle of that whole struggle of, Matthew, it's so important to do your homework. Matthew, why don't you want to do your homework? No, Matthew, if you don't want to do your homework, don't do it. But when you go to school tomorrow, guess what? You need to tell your teacher why you didn't want to do it. Too hard. You didn't feel like doing it. And you understand there are consequences that go along with that. The same is true when your kids forget whatever they need. Their backpack, you know what I mean, the papers and all that kind of stuff. And you know how your kids call you on the phone and like, Mom, can you bring it? Now, I will bring it if you are not a person that requires me to bring it. But if you are a person that has a habit of me bringing it, I am not bringing you anything. I am telling you you're going to have to deal with that thing by yourself. You're going to have to tell your teacher why you're late. You're going to have to explain to them why you didn't turn it in on time, because it had nothing to do with me. See, we have light here. You have computers here. You got everything you need. The reality is, yes, you never bring it. You have got to own that it's important to you. You got to understand that sometimes people aren't going to catch you when you fall, even though they can. And that the first responsibility we have as parents is to teach that to our kids, right? That's what I think. And, you know, some call it tough love. I don't know that it's tough love, but I do know that what it does is make you pack your backpack and check it twice. And you understand you don't want to sit in the principal's office because of something that you could have avoided. Okay. What is your responsibility? What is mine? See, I already did 4th grade. Okay, that's not my responsibility. They know we live 23 miles from school. You're not bringing it. That's right, Anitra. And the thing is, they will survive. And I think allowing your kids to deal with the consequences is a gift, right? Like, let them deal with it now in this environment. Then when they get out in the world and they don't know that there is a cost for not showing up for yourself, right? I want you to understand there's a price for not showing up for yourself. Go sit in the principal's office. Call me later. All right, next. Speak positively to them. I think it's so important to, hey, Kimberly, good to see you. You guys need to follow her. She's one of my coaching clients, Kimberly Ross Jones, right? Did I get that right, Kimberly? Kimberly, I got your name mixed up. Kimberly, okay. You guys need to follow her. She does mentoring for young girls. So they're not set up for false sense of success later. Absolutely. Kimberly, you want to tell me your last name. I'm so sorry. You need to speak positively to them. What you want them to do is understand the difference. The reason that we speak to our kids in an affirmative way is so that they understand when someone's saying some foolishness to them. So now if you speak foolishness to your kids, then you cannot be upset when they choose foolishness because they heard foolishness from you. Okay? So the reason that we speak positively to our kids is so that they know the difference, right? So when you speak in a way, hey, Tawana, good to see you. You guys got to check Tawana Brown Smith out, Mom's Guide to Travel. She's one of my core mom coaching clients also. Okay, but you when you speak positively to your kids, see, that's their language. That's the only language. And so when someone's speaking to them in a way that's disrespectful or in a way that they're not familiar, they understand this is a warning. And I think so many moms don't understand and dads don't understand why is it that their kids are attracted to foolishness. Is because how are you talking to your kids at home? So we're going to take a minute. If you guys need to reset, okay? Because hearts are a good thing, right? Hearts are a good thing. I am Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist. I support moms with life and business success. Now, I am today talking about how to raise confident children because it's so important. And I'm just going to recap real quick. One is let your children choose their own journey. The second is don't fix your children's mistakes. Let them own their own mistakes. They will be better because of it. The third is don't own their gifts. It's their gifts. Get your own gifts, okay, moms? Get your own gifts, get your own life, and you won't have to own your kids' gifts. Teach them that failure is not a death sentence. Success is built on failure, and your kids have to know that, and you have to understand that, and you have to understand it to teach it. So that's what's so important. And also acknowledge the brilliance that, oh, that's awesome. Acknowledge the brilliance that they love, right? Like acknowledge in them what they're good at. They need to hear you acknowledge that, okay? Don't overpraise them, but acknowledge it, okay? Don't ignore it. And don't praise them for what they have not done. They won't respect you and they won't believe you. And that's important in terms of you guys building trust in your mom, your mom, daughter, son relationships, okay? And then speak positively to them. Speak in a way that if they were marrying someone and they would talk to them that way, would you want your kids to marry your mouth? Okay? Would you want your kids to marry your mouth? Because they will. Okay, so at the end of the day, choose your words, choose words that are affirming so that your kids know who they really are. So important. Okay, and then help them manage haters in both adults and children. See, when you're trying to raise your confident kids, they're going to inevitably meet people who are hating on them. And I don't mean it, I mean that aren't supporters of them because of how they're showing up. And you as a parent, you have to prepare your kids for that. You have to help your kids understand what that looks like. You have to help your kids understand what those scenarios are and why those things happen so that they're not confused about their success, so that they don't pull back, they don't withdraw, they don't contract from who they are. You know what that looks like. There will be haters from near and far. When your kids are brilliant, it counts. And you don't want your kids to be blindsided when they have people who respond to them in a way negatively because they're gifted. All right? And so as a parent, that just goes along with it. If you want your kids to be confident, they've got to understand the downside of being great. And we all know it as adults. And sometimes as parents, we ill-equipped our kids. They don't know what's around the corner and they get smacked upside the head. And sometimes they pull back or they try to, in class, maybe they don't want to raise their hand as much because of what's happening or because a teacher maybe isn't calling on them or whatever's going on. Help your kids to manage haters. Have that conversation with them in advance about what the scenarios can look like even before they experience them. I had so many negative comments on Olivia's conference news features. I had to blog about it. See, so Anitra's daughter had a conference for confident girls, middle school girls. And that's what happens. Like if your kids are doing great things, inevitably you're going to have people to say, that aren't going to be fans or supporters of what you've got going on. You're going to have a lot of people who are. But you need to prepare your kids. They need to understand what that looks like. Okay, crazy people who hate themselves. They hate themselves or they hate the reflection that other people who are doing great things have. And you have to let your kids know. Because, see, this is all new to them. They're just being themselves. But, you can have someone punch you in the stomach as an adult and it hurts. Family are the worst haters. Family can be that way. Sometimes if you show up differently, you talk differently. Sometimes it can be neighbors as well. Sometimes people won't share opportunities with you. And this is all new to your kids because they go through a period of when they're confident kids and maybe doing something great where they're getting a lot of accolades for what they're doing. But then they're meeting upon people who aren't supporters. And sometimes it's not so transparent. So I found that just informing my kids about what this is, why this is, what what possibly could look like has allowed them not to avoid it, but to be aware on how to handle it. Does it make sense? Somebody say, Mia, this makes sense, okay? Because I think that it's important as moms to prepare our kids, right? To make sure that if your kids are confident, you've invested all your time, your money, your energy in them, but you want to give them the full picture of what to expect. Does that make sense? Okay, yes, okay, great. Anybody else, does that make sense? Okay, and then the last thing is you need to prepare them. You need to make sure your kids are prepared. Thank you, Celeste. You need to make sure your kids are prepared. And I think prepared is, you're giving them the tools, all of the things that I talked about today, so that when you're a confident kid, you're ready. You got to be ready. You got to be ready for a number of different things. You got to protect your gift. And you got to understand that it is a gift. And I think sometimes when kids are young and they grow up with skills and talents, they don't necessarily see it as a gift. It's what they've been doing all their life. And then they meet other people who, begin to see them in a different way. You got to explain to your kids, you got to protect your gifts. I think about a story. I'm here in Maryland, and one of the stories that touched me so much was the story of Len Bias. And I don't know if you guys remember him or not, but he was a basketball player who was accepted to for full scholarship to University of Maryland. And he was potentially the next Michael Jordan. And he was the #1 draft pick, and he was a good kid. Like, he was known as a good, straight kid, had never gotten in any trouble, didn't do any drugs, just nothing like that at all. And the night he got his contract, or I think the night he got his draft pick, and maybe it was his contract, he did cocaine. The guy said, let's celebrate. And he did cocaine for the first time, and he died. He had a heart attack and died. And it was such a sad story for us all. I knew so many people that knew him and knew how he had spent the majority of his life, 99.9% of his life, making the right choices, doing the right thing. But in some way he wasn't prepared. He wasn't prepared. He won the thing. He got to that point, and his mom was absolutely devastated, as any of us would be, right? As any of us would be. And because of the choice he made. And so, as parents, we can only do what we can do, but I do think we have to have that conversation with our kids about protecting your gifts. And he was just such a great example of that, because he was such a stand-up kid all of his life. And he was such an excellent basketball player who deserved, to live a good life. Thank you. I enjoyed this good stuff, okay? I am Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist. I support moms with life and business success. Let me just say this to you guys. I'm done with this scope tonight. I think this might be my shortest scope. I think maybe 50 minutes. If you didn't catch my scope from earlier this morning, you need to, on how to build an amazing brand. I think it's my favorite scope. And my second favorite scope is my 2015 reflection. You can catch those on katch.me, katch.me, and then just Google my name, search for my name, Mia Redrick. Children have to protect their gifts. Yes, Pat. They have to protect their gifts. So I told you I would open the floor. Are there any questions for me? Did you guys enjoy this topic tonight? Did you enjoy it? I'm not as fired up tonight as I was this morning, but this is an important topic, as moms, that we need to discuss. Are there any questions for me? Any reflections on what we talked about today? Anyone? Anyone? Okay. Yes, very reinforcing. Okay, it was reinforcing for you. I always try to give you time to write. Okay. All right. So you guys know what time it is. Okay. All of my scopes, in case if you're new, I'm pulling it up. All of my scopes I play a Lionel Richie song because I'm Lionel Richie's #1 fan. Thank you so much, Julia. Julia, I just put together the bags that I'm going to send out tomorrow. So I'm excited when you get them. Many of the same concepts I'll be sharing in your ebook. You know, I get it, right? Because you're brilliant kids. It's the same stuff, right? So absolutely. I can't wait to read it, Anitra. I am Lionel Richie's biggest fan. This is when we heart it up. Okay. And, this is one of my favorite Lionel Richie songs. This is live. Lionel is live singing the Sail On. And this is when we heart it up in the community. So my goal is to hit 1 million this month. And we're almost there. I love this song. They're all my favorite. So that's the thing. I think Dancing on the Ceiling is not as much as my favorite as the others. Oh my goodness. This is live though. I'm a big Lionel Richie fan. I've gone to 9 concerts. And if you know Lionel, you need to let him know I'm his biggest fan. Okay? I don't sing. Yeah, this is when we heart it up, guys. You're going to love what's in there. I had to order a couple of things to get them all in. I'm looking for a good time. Did you guys enjoy the scope today? Okay, so if we were in concert, we were doing this. Good time. Never felt so good. You know what's amazing is how great his voice sounds. It sounds just like from the very beginning. Tiffany, you're going to have to catch the replay. On all of my scopes, I always play a Lionel Richie song, and that's when we heart it up at the end of the scope. Can you guys hear it? Okay. Anyway, I've had a great time tonight. I'm Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist. I support moms with life and business success. Be sure to check out my past scopes at katch.me. katch.me. There's some really good ones there. Over 100 scopes are there. And on life and business success. How can I reach you? You can reach me, Tiffany, here's my personal email address. I'm going to give you a minute to be able to write it down. So if you guys are ever interested in working with me directly in a coaching capacity, you can reach me at Mia, M-I-A _Redrick at findingdefinitions.com. Thank you, Julia. Julia just put it here. Mia _Redrick at findingdefinitions.com. Yes, coaching. And there are, just so I can explain it to you, Tiffany, there are 3 ways that I appreciate you so much, Julia. There are 3 ways that you can work with me. One is we only have 4 left. 4 of the specials. I had 75 spots to work with me one-to-one. I typically charge $1,000 for a one-to-one consult. I don't do a lot of those, but I did 75 for a holiday special. We have 4 left. They're $200. They're normally $1,000. You can save $800. And the link is in my profile for Periscope. So if you copy and paste that link, you can buy that and book that. So they're booked in the order of availability. Okay. And I think I might have I have a couple of hours left for this week, like 4 hours I have for this week for Thursday. So if that works for you, totally cool. Okay. The other thing, and we can talk about anything you want, your life, your business success. The other option is you can work with me either in my Core Moms coaching program, which is a 12-month entrepreneurial coaching program where I talk about, there are 12 lessons for your business, like how to create a product, how to monetize your product, how to position yourself as an expert, how to build your outsourcing team so you can get more done, how to position yourself as an expert, how to brand, how to pitch to brands, etc. Okay, so that's another option. That's Core Moms Coaching. That's another option you have with me. Or Life Systems Calls, which is we talked about how to set boundaries, how to set up your office, how to make sure you're not doing too much. Because a lot of times for moms, if your business isn't doing what you wanted to do, it's likely because of your life. So I don't ignore your life. We have life and business coaching calls each month. And then there's a 1-hour open coaching call where you can ask any question that you want. Thank you so much, Julia, for putting that there. So it's a 1-hour business call, a 1-hour life call, and a 1-hour open coaching call each and every month. And all of it's recorded. You get an accountability partner in an incredible community. And that's Core Moms Coaching. The program is $4,200 a year, and you can pay monthly, $350 a month. Thank you. $350 a month, or 3 payments of $1,200. Okay, or yeah, I'm just trying to break it down for you easily. $1,200, or in full for $3,000 for the year. So that's it. Okay, and or you can for $97 a month book a different program, which is called the Moms Academy, which is going to be on Periscope here in a private group. And it is a 12-month coaching program where I'll teach you life and business strategies, but it's one call a month, and you have access to a private community. So they're all really great programs. I don't really believe in doing 3-month coaching programs because most people who work with me want more than that. So you have the Moms Academy, Core Moms. You can either visit coremomscoaching.com, themomsacademy.com, or check the link out on my profile, and you can book me directly for a 1-to-1. And if you want to email me, let me know which one is better for new business ideas. If you have a new business idea, I think Core Moms Coaching is a phenomenal coaching program. Anitra is in the program. I don't know if she's still here, but she can attest to it. It's a great, great coaching program. It's a rock solid coaching program. If you are an entrepreneur who you have an idea of what you want to do, but you don't have content, you haven't positioned yourself as an expert, you don't know how to package your ideas or monetize them, build your brand from scratch, that's what the program is for. It's great. I built it based on what I needed when I got started in business, because I was like the mom coach, right? I was the mom coach, Tiffany, when mom coaching nobody knew what it was. Okay, like 13 years ago, mom and coaching didn't go together. And so I built a coaching program for those of you who are thought leaders and you have an idea what you want to do, but you're looking to, brand it, create and position yourself as an expert, create content that you can monetize in some way. Anitra, Tiffany was asking about the Core Mom Coaching Program. Is there anything you would say, what do you think is unique? What's been your experience in Core Moms? Anything you'd recommend or suggest to her as it relates to the program? I just want to give her a minute to comment. Thank you guys so much for the hearts. So you guys know that my goal is to hit 1 million on Periscope. Today is day 45. So we're like doing amazing. We have over 400,000. What do we have, Julia? We have like over 400,000 hearts. And we started, I started like 45 days ago. So I'm really excited about that. I just learned to hit reply last week. Okay. Mia drives you to take action and gives you strategies and ways to do it. I think what's unique about what I offer is everything I teach is not theoretical, Tiffany. Everything I teach, I have done. All right. So if we're talking about getting media, I have done that. If we're talking about working with a brand, I've worked with multiple Fortune 500, 100 brands. That's actually what I like to do. So over 430,000 in 45 days. That's incredible. So thank you so much. And I couldn't have done it without you guys. My goal is to hit 1 million this month. And I thank you. Every heart counts. So, okay. Are there any other questions for me before I sign out? And if you need to email me, Tiffany, I'd love to be able to speak with you directly. She sees things that you can do that you can't see. Great content. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Nitra. Okay. Okay. Mia_Redrick at findingdefinitions.com. Okay, thank you. You're welcome. All right, I look forward to speaking with you, Tiffany. Thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to you soon. I love you guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.